Jones. Senator Sanders.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and like others, I want to welcome Bonnie Lautenberg here. Jane says hello. And thank you for reminding us for all of the great work that Frank has done. I also want to thank Senator Markey and Senator Boxer for their leadership on addressing this very, very important issue. Mr. Chairman, I got involved in this issue soon after I was elected to the U.S. House, and I'll never forget it. I got a call from a woman in Montpelier, Vermont, and she said something which, frankly, I initially did not believe. She said that we installed in our home in Montpelier a brand new carpet. And as the carpet was unrolled, it off-gassed, and she and her kids became pretty sick. And I thought, wow, this doesn't sound right. I really did. I was disbelieving of that. Well, we did a little study on it. It turns out that all over this country, in many states, there were attorney generals working on the issue, and I see Mr. Jones acknowledging it. This has been a problem. A lot of chemicals in new carpets, off-gas, and if there's not proper ventilation, people can become sick. That's how I got involved. And we made some progress on that, by the way. I became involved in this. It seems to me that our goal is not to argue whether or not the current TSCA bill is adequate. I think we all agree that it is not. The real issue is, given the fact that we have tens of thousands of chemicals, of which many of them we know very little about, we don't know how they interact with each other. We don't know how they impact vulnerable populations like kids or people who are ill. It seems to me that we have the obligation to pass legislation which, in fact, protects the people of this country, especially our children. Now, my concerns about the bill that we're discussing today, the Vida-Udall bill, is that it makes it extremely difficult for the EPA to ban or phase out toxic chemicals even after determining that they are dangerous. That does not make a lot of sense to me. That the bill prohibits states from enforcing safety standards that are identical to federal standards, even if EPA enforcement is inadequate. The bill prohibits states from taking actions on chemicals even after determining that a chemical is dangerous if the EPA merely identifies a chemical as one deserving of attention. And the bill enables the chemical industry to preemptively place chemicals on the so-called high priority list, preempting states like Vermont from taking action for many years. Now, I find two aspects of this discussion somewhat interesting. First of all, virtually every hearing that we hold, every markup that we hold, we hear constant attacks against the EPA. As I think Senator Whitehouse and Senator Cardin have indicated, we expect the majority party right now to go forward with massive cuts in the EPA. And now we're led to believe that it should not be states like Vermont or Massachusetts or California who have been vigorous in dealing with this issue. They should not have the responsibility to go forward, but it should be an EPA which the Republicans want to substantially cut. Frankly, I don't think that passes the laugh test, if I may say so. A second point, on a more philosophical basis, I hear many of my Republican friends talking about federalism. I believe in federalism. I think it's a remarkable concept which says we have 50 states out there, each doing different things. We learn from each other. Federal government learns from them. The states learn from the federal government. But essentially, to tie the hands of states, especially those states who have been most active on this issue, and say we just want a federal government, and by the way, we want to cut the funding for that agency which is asked to enforce this legislation, doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So I strongly support what Senator Markey and Senator Boxer are trying to accomplish. Let me ask Mr. Jones a question, if I can. Mr. Jones, if we adopted the Udall-Vida bill as proposed, isn't it true that this would weaken the ability of states like the state of Vermont to take action to limit toxic chemicals?
The state of Vermont would not be able to take action on a chemical that EPA designated as a high priority.
Okay. Well, that's enough for me. And
Thank you, Senator
Thank you.
Sanders. Senator Merkley.